Good afternoon and welcome to another Inside ProCents interview where we will continue to showcase our members and our partners while shedding a little light on the value that ProCents is providing to our industry players. And most of all, what we'll be doing is letting you hear that value directly from our members and partners' lips. My name is Devin Anderson and I'm the president here at ProCents, and I'm joined once again by my friends and the ProCents leadership team, Mr. J.R. Edens, and our CEO, Mr. Matt, I'm the man, Russell. Matt, would you like to speak a little bit?
I don't know if I'm the man, but I certainly know who the man is. And it's usually the guy I'm working with because we're collaborating, creating partnerships. And some of the partnerships I've formed in the industry started at TechBrite. And it's great to have them on here because I love the company, great people. And one of the great guys there, Doug, I can't wait to hear all the new and exciting stuff that they've got going on today.
Amen. Amen. All right. Well, today we are going to get to know an amazing seller partner of ours within the ProCents environment, filled with some of the best guys in the industry that I've ever come across. And that's saying a lot because there's a lot of people here, but I just love this group. Representing them today is one of those great guys and a friend of ours as well, Mr. Doug Whitmore. Good afternoon, Doug.
Hello.
The Inside ProCents.
How are you all today?
BEA beautiful. All right, well, let's get this party started. As always, we begin by having our guests give some insight into their organization with a little self-love and promotion. So, Doug, first of all, tell us a bit about TechBrite from your perspective. What makes you special? Not you, but TechBrite, just FYI. Oh. And what it's like to work with those two other nuts that you guys have over there, David and Brett. Absolutely love those guys. And then once you get past that, just define your organization's niche and how you go about achieving success within that niche in today's highly competitive market.
All right. Well, thank you all for the invite. I appreciate this opportunity here. First off, I've been with TechBrite for about 3 years. Before that, I was with a local distributor here in Cincinnati for roughly 12 years. So I know enough to get myself into trouble with TechBrite, but not enough to get myself out of it sometimes. Anyways, what makes TechBrite special? Seeing it from the outside, first of all, and then now seeing it from the inside, it's kind of it's a very unique organization. It's great to work with those two nuts. They have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of energy. One of them's a perfectionist, and the other one is more of a perfectionist. So it's a really high standard here to work with. But what makes this really special, though, is the fact that we are American made. Probably 85% of our products are American made. We source from the good old US of A here. We don't have a huge board of directors to satisfy. We have two guys that do lighting, and that's who we have to satisfy, along with all of our customers and all of the other people that make this whole organization tick. But the main thing is that we don't have to hit our quote unquote quota numbers to satisfy the board. So we can pretty much do as we need to do when we need to do it. As far as where do we get our success at, we do fill a niche market. We fill the retrofit market very nicely. This company started back in the, back in the 80s, back in the early 80s as a de-lamping company. Just regional, just here in the Cincinnati, Dayton market. And then when those two nuts, David and Brett, bought it, they took it national. Figured out that we could do more than just retro kits, that we don't have to pigeonhole ourselves into a retrofit company. So now we do all sorts of stuff: fixtures, retro kits, tubes, boards, drivers, you name it. We probably either can do it or I've already done it. Matt, you know that. You've been with us before, so you know what we can do. So it's been a great company to work for so far, and I look forward to at least 3 more years. That's good.
Right on. No, that's good. And I'm glad that you mentioned your American-made status, because there's a handful of those guys out there that are American-made, and that's kind of their niche. So you're competing with those guys. So I'm just going to add another quick question here before I let JR go into his. How are you guys differentiating in the American-made space where BAA and TAA is, they're both defined in different ways, and being competitive, not just with that group, but with the price points that the industry are, trying to throw in your direction, that sometimes people just don't see the difference and understand the why behind that.
There is a lot of merit to that. There are a lot of people out there that don't care or don't understand what the BAA, TAA significance is. It gets us into a lot of government jobs. It gets us into a lot of jobs where, we're tired of relying on overseas production. We're tired of relying on somebody other than ourselves. As far as pricing goes, we have outstanding relationships with our supplier partners here in the U.S. They all treat us very well. So that really hasn't been a huge issue for us as far as the pricing goes. Our BAA products are probably priced less expensive than a lot of people's non-BAA products. And when I say BAA, I mean that the majority of the product is manufactured or assembled here in the U.S. Yes, we get our boards and our drivers from Mexico and China because that's the only place you can get those things from. But majority of the other products, it's made right here in the good old US of A.
Right on. Yeah, and what I take away from that answer, Doug, and I appreciate the answer, is not only are you guys strong in that arena, but you're competitive across the other spaces. So if you're a buyer in the environment or somebody that's looking to partner with somebody, you guys have got the goods, you got the pricing capabilities, you've also got the manufacturing capabilities, so you can pivot when you need to pivot to do things the right way and customize. So
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we can definitely change horses in the middle of the stream. Absolutely.
Right on, right on. All right, JR.
What's up, Doug? Good to see you, man.
How are you, JR?
I'm doing good, man. I think it's safe to say that there's a lot of manufacturers out there. We have a good number of them in the environment, and then obviously outside the environment, there's a ton of other ones. And every one of them is always looking for that one-off product or one-off solution that they provide that's different than everybody else. Outside of your, you talked about the made in USA stuff, which is awesome. But what is that one or a few things that TechBrite has that's that one-off that changes the view from especially inside the community or the environment at TechBrite that makes you special?
Well, let's be honest here. We're selling lighting fixtures, right? I mean, how much it's really difficult to make that they see that panel above my head. It's really difficult to make that into something, special. So the thing that we do the best is that we communicate. We like to talk to people. You're never going to be in the dark at where you stand with one of our products, with one of our orders, or one of your guys' orders. You will know where it is. You will know when you will get it. If we have bad news for you, we'll tell you the bad news. But then again, if we have good news for you, we'll tell you that as well. I cannot tell you how many different suppliers and vendor partners we have that do not communicate until the very last minute. Well, it doesn't do anybody any good if we find out late that we can't get it. Or on the flip side, if we find out too late that it's going to be too early and it's really going to put everybody else in a big bind. So we try to communicate that. And that's probably the biggest thing that differentiates us is customer service, communication, and just overall being the nice guys, being the friendly people on the market.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting because that actually leads right into the next question that Matt's going to ask, because one of the things that I love about, well, you guys in general, but the people that we're working with and that are kind of falling into the ProCents mentality is we're aligned in a lot of those cultural beliefs as far as communication and clarity and doing what you say you're going to do. I mean, it sounds very simple when we say it. When you write it down, it's like everybody should know this stuff. But if you've been in the industry long enough, you know that the industry does not operate that way. And that's why ProCents is really pushing that and trying to bring the people together that fall into that capacity. So Matt, I'll lead into that. You're on deck.
Well, you're absolutely right. The communication is key. And, I had the privilege to get to know Brett and Dave and Doug and the entire team there at TechBrite back in 2019 through 2020, where I got the opportunity to be a part of the organization. And obviously we know what happened in 2020. Things just kind of fell apart. But at the same time, is I took it as a learning experience, and some of those things that were instilled in me from other companies were further ingrained by the entire organization and the culture about communicating and over communicating. Like before we started this call, I was kind of joking around. I was like, at least the good thing about the supply chain is Doug can get up from his desk and walk several hundred feet to the production line and say, well, where's the supply chain? Oh, it's right there. He's not having to wait on a container. He can, and that's where that over communication is key. So as TechBrite and ProCents have come together, and it's a great partnership, I think we're able to help each other. And you leading by example by over communicating is something that we talk about. And I know Devin will finish up at the end of the call with. But outside of the collaboration, what are some of the things that the ProCents environment can look for when they engage with you or Angela or anyone else on the sales team? What does that collaboration look like? And also even with your rep network and, your industry partners within distributors, you're working with a lot of people. So it's not that you're sitting on just 3 or 4 customers. I mean, you're touching a lot of verticals. Mm-hmm. And you're collaborating with a lot of people. So how do you collaborate with what we would call the buyers in our market, the VARs or the ESCOs or the smaller independents? What does that look like for you?
I think the biggest takeaway from this whole thing is the fact that TechBrite really cares about what we try to do. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, just always be moving forward. Mm-hmm. Trying to better yourself. There's a wall, or there's a wall up in David's sign. There's a sign up on David's wall that says, don't apologize, don't be sorry, be better. And that's something we try to put forward in every communication. And every time we talk to somebody is try to learn, try to be better. What did we do that we can do better on tomorrow? Mm-hmm. We improve this product? How do we improve this process? How do we talk to somebody better? How do we answer the phone better? How do we communicate via email or Zoom, or how do we do it better? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily better than everybody else, just better than ourselves, because that's the only measurement stick we have is ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Especially in the BAA market, the TAA, the retrofit market, and also the variety of other products that you do, your flat panels, your backlit panels, your outdoor exterior lighting. Y'all touch a lot of different products. So being better is sometimes just, like I love saying is keep it simple, stupid,
Yeah.
And that's
there's
one
no
thing.
sense in overcomplicating this. Like I said before, this is lighting.
Yeah.
It's there for one purpose, and it's to help everybody look better. Granted, I need a whole lot of lighting for that, but that's a different.
Yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you. It is a little bit more than lighting, because one of the things that I remember being there was the partnership that was formed with TechBrite and Avion, which is helping TechBrite not only just be on and off with lighting, but on and off with backnet capability and tying into the IoT. So can you hit on that a little bit and how that partnership is really formed over the last 3 years?
Well, to be honest with you, that partnership hasn't really formed. We have discontinued talks with Avion because we're still, we still promote their products.
Okay.
But we're what we call sensor agnostic.
Okay.
We can put anybody's sensor in our product. We use Sensor Switch. We use Legrand Watt Stopper. We use IR Tech. We use Avion. We use, there's a couple more I'm forgetting. There's Philips out there, but as long as we have the right driver and as long as we know what we want to put in it, then we can use anybody's.
Yep.
Kind of sets us apart from some of the big boys that have their own sensor arm that may or may not work for the customer. We can find that right item.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I was hoping that you were going to say that, because there is the B2B where you're selling to distribution and your contractors, your ESCOs, or your rep model. But the one thing that I think most people don't realize is how good of an OEM partner that TechBrite can be, not only for the control side, but also from the manufacturer side. So that right there, just your answer alone helps bring to light. So for our sellers that are going to watch this or later on in the environment, if you're needing a place to put your controls and needing some help getting something to market, TechBrite's a great place to look to find those solutions, because you may be thinking about it, but they may have already done it, and they may not be doing it in their own line, but they might be doing it for someone else. So it's a great place to, start having a conversation with Doug or anyone else at the team there, because they are so affluent in working in partnership with so many people across the industry.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, right on. No, I love, there were a lot of key points in that conversation in your answer. I had no idea that you guys had kind of gone more into an agnostic mode with regard to controls. I think that's a big step in the direction from your control standpoint. So I think that's a very positive thing. I know you guys are still working with Avion, but you guys are opening the door to being able to really provide the right solution with the agnostic capabilities, because not everybody's going to want Avion directly. Not everybody wants Bluetooth. Not everybody wants the full meal deal. They got to be able to have what meets the need of the job, right? So
yeah, and I mean a lot of distributors and end users already have their systems in place. They already know what they want to use. They just got to find a light fixture to work with it.
absolutely.
And why should I come in and force something on you when you don't need that?
Amen, brother. It's very good, and I love the idea of the kind of always being better. It kind of follows what we call the always learning mentality, and you defined it really well. It's the same thing I've always said to my kids. I've said it in my business. I've said it to myself. It's, be better today than I was yesterday. Be better tomorrow than I am today. It's always kind of making, holding yourself accountable and taking that next step. So I think that's a great way of doing business, and you should be proud of having that be
Thank you.
standard at TechBrite.
And that is key. Just take that first step.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. This basically concludes our Inside ProCents interview with TechBrite. Our focus today was on our seller member who has been with ProCents really since the beginning. We've talked about this before. We relaunched last October. ProCents is not new. ProCents has been around for about 2 or 3 years prior to that, and TechBrite was in the door very early and stuck around and is now seeing what we're becoming. So we appreciate that very much. Tell Brett and Dave, I call them nuts, but they know that I love them to death. Make sure you tell them I said hi, and I can't wait to see them again, hopefully at NALMCO.
All right, I will. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being a part of this. Matt, you want to close out before I close?
Well, TechBrite has a special place in my heart just because I've got the privilege to know them over a couple of years, and I do call them friends, and I do try to recommend them as much as possible. But, trying to share the love, but, this is a true partner that can really help break down the verticals and working both with sellers and buyers through our entire environment. And if you're not sure how that conversation starts, I'll tell you how it starts. You make a phone call to the team at TechBrite, and they're going to answer your questions. And even if nothing comes out of it, I guarantee you're going to make a good friend that's going to help you along the way. So.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, guys. Well, here's how we close. We do it the same way every time. We showcase our cultural beliefs and drive our every action for our ProCents members. We believe here at ProCents that clear, consistent, and transparent communication practices solve 99% of the inefficiencies and challenges that occur in our daily buyer and seller interactions. So to all of our current and future members, the ProCents culture is very simple. Every member of our community enters and adheres to the following ProCents promise. same-day responses to all communication requests, clear and consistent communication practices for efficient interactions, always turning inward for your organizational needs in a deliberate effort to support all participating members. And it should go without saying, but as you know, I will always say it, do what you say you're going to do, always. At ProCents, we make connections that are sticky and that last, then we get out of the way. We open the doors and our members always choose their own path, but they do it together. If you would like to know more about ProCents, check out our website at www.procents.com or reach out to any one of our leadership team members and get on our calendars. Believe me when I say this, there is no better time than right now to get on this train. Stay tuned, big announcements coming. And if you're not on the train before it happens, the game changes. Be aware. Thank you all once again. Have a spectacular day.